And now just going through how to sort out the projection for, and using the screens in the Ministry Centre. There are a few different options. You can plug in your own laptop, I'll show you that way. And there's also a MacBook, which we use for 4 p.m. church or any other bigger gatherings. With Proclaim, that laptop is preloaded. You'll find the laptop just in the rack, as well as the charger, which might be in the drawer. So at this stage, that has been plugged in to the wall, and I'm just going to turn on all of the switches. This one turns on the rack, TV and speakers, and this one is power for the laptop. And I'm just going to log in. If in doubt, the password for this laptop should be written on the underside. And once you're logged in, Proclaim is this software down the bottom there, which you'll want to use. Proclaim, let that load up. And we also have background music, which is via Amazon Music. Just open up Safari and it should just go straight to Amazon Music, and it will load up with a playlist called Background Worship. Just hit play or shuffle on that. And it's just got some songs on there that you can play in the background. And Proclaim will load up. In the meantime, down in this drawer here, it'll be one of these two drawers. Sometimes they're on the top, but there are a few different types of dongles for different laptops. This one is a USB-C one to HDMI. This is an Apple one to HDMI. And this one is an Apple one to HDMI if you were to plug in over at the points on each wall, then you can just go straight into your laptop. And there's also one of those which is, let's see if it's in the drawer. I think it has been borrowed for another use at this point. Here we go. There is also HDMI straight to USB-C in a cable format, again for using down at the wall, so you don't have to use dongles. And there's plenty of other cables in here which are spares if needed. So now Proclaim has loaded up. What you want to do when you load up Proclaim, if you are using it, is just hit this green tick button. That'll go through and synchronize everything. Make sure that we have all the latest presentations. Then go up the top right, go to File and go to Open, and it will load up all the latest sets of PowerPoints that we want to use. And for 4 p.m, you'd just be loading up the latest set. That will load up, and then you can go on air, and that will begin presenting as well. We're not plugged into the screens just at this stage, so we'll come back to that in a second. At the rack, there's two cables coming out of the rack. Just down the back, there is an iPod cable, so a headphone jack, and it has a USB-C or a lightning port, so you can plug it into your phone. And there's also a HDMI cable. What I've done is I've put the Apple dongle on this one, and that's just going to go into the side of the laptop. And start sending a signal to the screens. And now that we've done that, we can see that the Apple Mac has started coming through this one, but not this screen. And if we look at the back, it's also coming through on that, so that's all good. But we need to try to figure out why that one's not working. And so this is where we know the signal's going to the rack and the system, but we just need to route it to the right TV. And so this is where you can follow these instructions here, but I'll just flick down to underneath, and this is how we control what signals go to which screen that we have here in the Ministry Centre. So here you'll see there's a whole bunch of inputs and outputs. So there's 8 inputs and 8 outputs on here. So you can see inputs from left to right, left hall. So that is the patch point, the HDMI patch point down in the left hall below the TV, down at the wall. There's the right hall, same one. There's the rack HDMI, which is the cable popping out the top of the rack. There's a set-top box in this rack as well. You can see it just glowing behind. There's an Apple TV just there, and there's a Chromecast plugged into the back as well. So 6 inputs, and then outputs we have is the left TV, the right TV, and the rear TV. Nice and simple. So right now, we need rack HDMI, so input number 3, you can see the number there, to go to all of the TVs. So there is a button over here that says all TVs. So what we want to do is send the rack HDMI to all TVs and then hit enter. And you just hit escape as well. And now if we scroll back across, that is coming out 1, 2, 3 TVs. And you can see that in the routing now as well. So you can see input number 3 is going to all of the outputs. What you could do in the situation that you wanted just the, I don't know, you might just want the set-top box, we'll go the Chromecast to go to the right TV. Hit enter. Now the Chromecast is showing out the right TV, but the computer is still showing out the left side and the rear TV. And that routing would look like that. So the Chromecast, which is input 6, is now going to output number 3, which is our right TV. But typically, we just want rack HDMI going to all TVs. Enter. I'll just hit escape so it resets the screen as well, just so we can view 3 is going everywhere. So for a big room setup, that's what you want, 3 going everywhere. And then just to get audio coming through as well, so whatever's being displayed on the right TV, which in this case is the MacBook, the audio can go through the HDMI channel. So you can see that we're just playing some music on that TV. So normally what you want to do is tap it, turn it down so it's not loud and bursting through, unmute it, and then turn it back up. Beautiful. The only other thing I'll point out at this point is there is an iPad which can also show what the Proclaim presentation is showing. So if Proclaim is on air and is displaying things on the screen, in this case it's just cycling through a bunch of slides, we can also get that to show on here, so if you want to have this on the lectern or something instead. So we just open up the Proclaim app, check that it's connected to Wi-Fi, should be connected to NAC Wi-Fi. You just see that it has a little Wi-Fi icon, which is good. Sometimes takes a little bit to load. And we can see that 4 p.m, that presentation is on air on the Mac. So we just hit follow. And what that will do, whatever is being displayed on the Mac screen, which is going to the main screens, that will then also mimic on the iPad with a slight delay because it's over the internet. Often just for the first little bit, it takes a little bit just to load up what it needs to display. So then it'll end up mimicking just like that. And you can have that in a nice accessible location for you within Wi-Fi range. And at the end, turn it all off, pack the computer up, put all the cables away. Happy days.